Ooh, I don't know if I did that right. But we'll start off anyway. Welcome to Mirror Domains Movie News, your place for entertainment headlines. And indeed, this is a live news show for movie fans where we talk about all the trending movie news headlines of the day, including what's going on with, well, Aquaman 2. Five Nights at Freddy's opens up this week. Shawn Levy talks about Star Wars. Interesting. We got some news about Mike Flanagan, the guy who directed Fall of the House of Usher, as well as a new Stephen King movie. It's all new movies here. And what's going on with the movies? Are they too long? Oh yes, somebody's come out, a big director's come out and said that modern movies right now are just way too long. And do you agree with them or not? But we start off today's show by talking about that Mission Impossible, well, delay. Tom Cruise's next Mission Impossible movie delayed a year to 2025. So this movie was supposed to come out in 2024, and they had shot it back to back, so it was mostly all done from what I understand. They had some stuff they had to still pick up, but a whole year now, so it won't come out in 2024. It needs to get retooled, and what needs to happen, talking about long movies, is that maybe it needs to get cut down, because Dead Reckoning Part 1 came in like at, 2 hours and 30 minutes or something? Yeah, that needs to be chopped down, Tom. But what about the stunts, James? Well, I had fun. With Dead Reckoning Part 1, but not a lot of people did, because not a lot of people went out to see it, and it sucks, because it was a fun time at the movies. Now, it being pushed, are people really going to be up in arms about this? I don't know. I think it actually does need a break. 2 years is not really that long, but I think Mission Impossible needs like a 5-year break. And by that time, Tom will be too old to play it, I think, in a realistic way, even though he still puts his body on the line for all of these things. It's just, people have just kind of like said, okay, we've seen it. We've seen the show, Tom. Like, there's not much more you can do. Like, he rides motorcycles off cliffs and is going to go up in space for his next movie. So it's kind of like, not the next Mission Impossible, but he's going to go up in space. So it's kind of like, what haven't you done that we haven't seen, Tom? It's kind of like, maybe concentrate more on the story and the execution of character. Because Ethan Hunt has become pretty much Dominic Toretto. He's a superhero. He doesn't get hurt, and if he does get hurt, he is able to get up and get back into action right away, kind of thing. So it's become, I don't know, it's hard to weigh it out, because the people that did see Dead Reckoning Part 1 liked it, but it was a bit long. Okay, so this is impacting because of the the actors strike. That's why you need to know that it's getting delayed, okay? What else is getting shifted around is A Quiet Place Day 1. A Quiet Place prequel movie release date shifts back 2 months in 2024. I thought it was going to be shifted forward, but I guess it's back amidst changes. Day 1, yes. Paramount has pushed back the release date of A Quiet Place Day 1, the prequel to the successful franchise. Yeah, 2 months. So the prequel, directed by Michael Sarnowski, will offer a different perspective. Yeah, Day 1 is supposed to be in a crowded urban environment, contrasting with the rural settings of the previous films. Day 1 will explore initial origins of the alien invasion and the characters' familiarity with the aliens' hunting methods, possibly leading to a larger role for dialogue and communication in the film. Well, yeah, we saw that in A Quiet Place Part 2. We saw meteors coming down, right? So we all, well, okay, that's how they arrived on the planet, but how many meteors did it hit? And what was it like for people first going to those sites and realizing that there's these creatures in there, right? And are we ever going to figure out where or who sent these creatures? It comes perilously close to one of my ideas about aliens using kind of like bioweapons to clean out the planet, and they send these creatures. Well, it's not my idea, but I'm sure that idea has been used lots. It's just I wanted to use it for one of my movies, but hey, it is what it is. A Quiet Place moves back to months. So from March 28th to June 28th. So it'll make it a summer movie as part of a series prompted by delays. Because, you know what? If you were to read the tea leaves from these shifting dates for Mission Impossible and A Quiet Place Day One, um, you almost get the sense that things aren't going to get solved soon, which is not good because people have been talking that they've been meeting. Both sides of the dispute have been meeting, so it's kind of like we were hoping that the actor strike would be over this week, if not today, but I guess not. They have been making progress, and even if it does get fixed now, we're almost to November, folks. So it's still 2 months in the year. They should be able to get back onto track and get people's schedules reworked, because that's what's going to have to happen. Is that people's schedules are going to be because they've been up in the air and in flux. Nobody's been working. It's kind of like, well, what can you work with now? Are you? I know that you were scheduled to work on that movie next March, but now we need you to continue and finish the work that you've started already. So it'll be a lot of shifting around, and that's why these delays are happening. So Mission Impossible delayed entire year. Quiet Place Day One only delayed 2 months. Now it's now going to be a summer movie. That's the one with Lupita Nyong'o. She's going to be in A Quiet Place Day One. It's not going to have John Krasinski or Emily Blunt. It's not. It's not part of that storyline, but it takes place in the same universe. So I'm looking forward to that for sure. All right, guys. Yes, we are a live news show. We talk about new movies. Movies. They're my social media handles. In case you decide you want to follow us on Twitch or even Instagram, TikTok, you get to see some behind the scenes stuff. Okay, let me just set up my YouTube chat that I forgot to set up. And we'll take some comments. I actually thought Day One was going to be a series. Being a prequel movie has me hyped but bummed on later release. Yeah. I think it would have benefited from an earlier release because the summertime, depending on how what other movies get shifted around, the summer is always been kind of like hit or miss with these smaller time movies. And Quiet Place Day One is going to be a smaller movie. It's not going to be a big blockbuster kind of thing where you take out the family to go see it or anything. Like the creator just suffered from this too. I don't know why it was released then. It would have been better for now. I don't know. It's just it's tough and it's sci-fi too, right? So it's kind of like I don't know. I hope it finds its audience. I really do. Okay. Next, let's talk about Killers of the Flower Moon. That's out, and everybody's that's seen it seems to have liked it. Maybe. Reservation Dogs star Devery Jacobs slams Flower Moon for Osage characters who are underwritten and helpless victims. Watching this was effing hellfire. Well, guys, I've been watching a lot of reviews for Killers of the Flower Moon, and I've been monitoring it. We know that the critics will like it because it's Scorsese. We know that the journalism side of it, they're just gonna be like, yeah, it's Scorsese. It's Oscar material. Oh, it wasn't made to make money. It was made just to make a statement, and it's okay that it's gonna lose $180 million at the box office because it was Apple's strategy. Oh yeah, it was a strategy to lose money because we need marketing, and it's kind of like you listen to these people just twist themselves up into pretzels trying to explain the box office bomb that is the Killers of the Flower Moon. And it's like, it's okay. It's okay. Guys, what are you talking about? But anyway, not everybody's on that page with the critics. I struggled myself to give this movie a 7.5. I wanted to give it a 7. As I said, it's a well crafted film. It's all there technically. It's just the story is it's without. So, Reservation Dogs. Devery Jacobs is Native American, obviously. So she took to her social media to weigh in. And here's the thing: I've seen other Native Americans review the movie and appreciated aspects of it, just like I did. Um, I guess I never seen a female Native American react to it because it was mostly the female Native Americans that get killed in this. And I guess I kind of glossed over a bit of that in my review, where a lot of female Native Americans go missing and get killed even today, guys. So it's kind of like maybe hit a little too close to home, and I was not taking that into consideration during my review, and I apologize. But yeah, she said it was hellfire watching them get murdered and stuff like that. She went on to say it must be noted that Lily Gladstone is an absolute legend and carried Molly with tremendous grace. She wrote, all the incredible Indigenous actors were the only redeeming factors of this film. Give Lily her Oscar. But while all the performances were strong, if you look proportionately, each of the Osage characters felt painfully underwritten, while the white men were given way more courtesy and depth. Well, that's Scorsese, and that's what happens when you hire Leonardo DiCaprio and um, Robert De Niro. Um, they're the big stars. Of course, you're going to put the camera on them. I don't feel uh, that these very real Indigenous people were shown honor or dignity in the horrific portrayal of their deaths. No, they weren't. The deaths, I said that in my review, that it was, yeah, you're watching somebody get killed. We've seen that in Scorsese films countless times. Um, if you know anything about history, yes, we get killed. So it's kind of like, I forgot to put myself in the shoes of a female watching that, a Native American female watching that. Of course, yes, that's awful, especially when some of them are killed, not even knowing that they're going to get killed. Right? It's terrible. Uh, Contrarily, I believe that by showing more murdered Native American women on screen, it normalizes the violence committed against us and further dehumanizes our people. Yeah, that there's an aspect of that too, where you don't want to normalize us getting killed on screen, and for what? She goes on to talk about how the movie doesn't really portray any justice, which was Scorsese's point, was that these people were really never held to account. The movie just kind of ends, and you get left with here's what happened to these people kind of thing. And that's basically what does happen in reality. And that's, as I said, uh, people on, especially females on reservations, go missing, and nobody's kind of like, well, are we not going to investigate this, guys? What's going on? It's like, no, just another one. It's like, yeah, it hits a little too home. So there is negative feedback out there, but I don't agree with her statement here. This is the issue when non native directors are given liberty to tell our stories. They center the white perspective and the focus on native people's pain. Uh, I would prefer to see a $200 million movie from an Osage filmmaker telling this story any day of the week. I'm sorry, but Scorsese choosing to end a shot of yeah, there was a dance and drumming sequence there at the end that was kind of like, sorry, is that to make up for what happened in the movie, just to pay us respects again, kind of thing? Um, I don't know about that. I'm not somebody. Well, only a Native American director can make a movie like this. I'm not somebody like that. Only a female director can make a female superhero movie. I'm not about that at all. Uh, so it'd be a little bit hypocritical of me to say that. Um, but I can see. Yeah, of course, me too. I'd like to see an Osage filmmaker make a movie about this and um, see what their perspective on it would be. But we got what we got, guys. And yes, we are going to have to endure the Oscar buzz around the film because it is Scorsese, because it's something that the critics will just latch onto without that much thought to the subtext of what it's doing to some people out there. Okay. Um, Yeah, I thought that was worth talking about because I'm not trying to use it as my punching bag, but Killers of the Flower Moon, as I said, I gave it a 7.5, guys, for sure. Uh, Chris Schobert in live chat says, "Hey, how's it going?" Pfeiffer the Hobbit says, "Hey." Chris says, "I'm looking forward to Five Nights at Freddy's this Friday." Yeah, I'm seeing it Thursday at 4:30, Chris. So I'll let you know what my straight out of the theater reaction is on Thursday night. Uh, yeah, I want to be able to sit 3.5 hours in a movie theater and then happen to get up and rest room, miss some good parts of the film theater. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, let's talk about that. Let's talk about the length of the movie because um, Killers of the Flower Moon. Hold on. Yeah. Killers of the Flower Moon clocks in at 3 hours and 26 minutes. And that's long. That's a long movie, right? That's a long time to be sitting in the theater. Um, there are times where you can get up and go to the washroom. But an article out today says movies are too long, too long. These days, says director Alexander Payne, the Sideways director. Um, you want your movies to be as short as possible. That's a philosophy that I am in because, guys, if you write movies, it's easier to write a 90-page script. It's cheaper to shoot a 90-page script than a 300-page script. Um, so I don't understand why these theater or these production companies are producing these long movies. So well, we just had Killers of the Flower Moon. That's 3 hours and 26 minutes. Oppenheimer was a long movie, 108 minutes. But like a lot of the Marvel movies, like Quantum Mania, Ant-Man and the Wasp, Quantum Mania was pretty long. What was a couple movies that are coming out now? Napoleon is coming out soon. 2 hours and 38 minutes. Creator was 2 hours and 14 minutes. Ferrari, 2 hours and 10 minutes. And Leave the World Behind, 2 hours and 18 minutes. So I know there'll be people out there that say length doesn't determine quality, and they'll argue to the high heavens that uh, Killers of the Flower Moon was a really well edited film. Pacing wise, I could agree, but there are some things in there that were just kind of like flashy edited. That was kind of like, yeah, it was misplaced. But anyway, you want your movies to be as short as possible. Yeah, I'm going to be so relieved when I go see Five Nights at Freddy's this week, and it's only going to be an hour and like 35 minutes. It's going to be like, yeah, that's what I like. That's what I want, right? Um, you want your more movies to be as short as possible, Payne said, according to IndieWire. There are too many damn long movies these days, he says. He added, quote, if your movie is 3.5 hours, at least let it be shortest possible version of that 3.5 hour movie. Like The Godfather Part 2. Seven Samurai are super tight. 3.5 hour movies, they go by like that. So there's no ipso facto judgment about length. Well, and that's what people are talking about Killers of the Flower Moon. You don't feel it. Um, you don't feel it like The Irishman. Yeah. Talking about Scorsese and length of film, for God's sakes. He doesn't cite anything, but of course, Killers of the Flower Moon is out right now, so a lot of people are. It's topical, right? Um, Payne added, "quote Film is a constant search for economy. You want a screenplay as short as possible. You want the acting as brisk as possible, given whatever the basic rhythm of that film is. Then the editing you want to be as short as possible, but no shorter. Yeah, so it doesn't become just a quick clip of like a bunch of TikToks strung together, right? Um, it's still a little long. We started screening. Okay, so he goes in to talk about his movies, but it did come up that yeah, we've got all these other long movies coming out, and I pulled up this article from Collider that doesn't really do justice to a lot of the modern movies. I wanted to use modern movies like Magnolia's 1999. That was long. Babylon recently, yes, that's a long movie too. What's another? Beau is Afraid was like 3 hours. Avatar: The Way of Water, I believed, earned that runtime. It was a long movie. Could it have been shorter? Yes, but at least because of the spectacle of it, that warranted the long time. And you're not gonna convince James Cameron to cut down Avatar: The Way of Water Part 3 to 90 minutes. You're not. You're still going to get a 3-hour film from Cameron. But he's earned it because those movies make billions of dollars. The Immigrants, yeah, that's 1970s, Right Stuff. They just go on to a bunch of long ones here. Um, what's another one that earned it? Uh, Lord of the Rings, extended cuts. That earned it. Zack Snyder's Justice League. Uh, if you get rid of that long epilogue, the 30-minute epilogue, which you don't need to watch, guys, it's still 2 hours and 2.5 hours. But it's the only way that I would say you need to watch that Justice League movie. And yes, you definitely could have cut out a lot of stuff from that movie. Hamlet. Now that's Shakespeare, so no. And that's the best version of Hamlet I think that I've seen. I need to watch that again. I watched it in the video store and I haven't revisited it. But yeah, they go back in to talk about a lot of the older movies. The point is well taken. When I see the runtime of a movie, you guys see it all the time on the channel. When I'm like, oh God, why does it have to be 2 hours? And it's like you see that from me, because 2 hours out of the day it's a lot of your time, and it's just nice when a movie just comes in at 90 minutes. It's so refreshing these days because everything if it's 2 hours, people just seem to think that it's going to be epic. And it's not the case. It's what serves the story. And at least Alexander Payne recognizes that in his statement. He says that, yeah, they're too long, but you want it to be as brisk as possible. Even if it's 3 hours and stuff, you want it to earn that 3 hours. What are your guys' estimations? Do you think that movies are too long these days? And is it a problem for you? Does it change your mind in going to the theater to see it if it's 3 hours? 3.5 hours in some cases. My God. Yeah. My threshold is 2.5 hours in the theater. Anything beyond that is kind of like, it better be a spectacle. It better be an Avatar movie. It better be an Avengers movie. Every now and then I'll permit a Killers of the Flower Moon to come in and say, okay, fine, Scorsese, you get your 3.5 hour movie. But please don't do it again. Please don't do it again. Oh, you did it again. God. It's just that kind of reaction. And I think most people have that reaction when it's that long. Arglass says the movie time really depends on the subject matter. For me, I enjoyed Kevin Costner's JFK. Yeah, JFK was long, but Kevin Costner was also in Dances with Wolves. That was a long movie, and that's, you don't feel that either. It depends. It depends, right? There's cases. I would be shocked if Avatar 5 was 4 hours in the final movie. I refuse to watch any movie longer than 90 minutes, Bifer says. But Bifer, I thought you watch a lot of movies out of India. Those are long, aren't they? Batman with Twilight Boy, too long. Yeah, the Batman was like 3 hours, right? But I like that one. As I said, if it's paced properly, I don't know. We'll see. It is the topic of the day. Movies are too damn long these days, says the director Alexander Payne. Do you guys agree with them? It's kind of going to be splashed up all over the pages today, so I thought that we would pull that and put it to you guys. Too long? Does it deter you? Who knows? Let's talk Aquaman 2. What is Aquaman 2's runtime? Let me pull up that. Let me pull up the IMDb. Okay, so good. Aquaman 2, Aquaman in the Lost Kingdom, is an hour and 55 minutes, so it's under the 2 hour mark. Good. But Aquaman 3 possibility discussed by the sequel's director, despite the early backlash. James Wan. Yes. Now, okay, guys, we need to fill in a little bit of the backstory here. It's not tracking well, Aquaman. This movie was supposed to be out last year. It got pushed around. It's finally going to come out this year. Because of the fallout of The Flash and the DCU being rebooted by James Gunn, everybody's kind of like, well, do we really need to watch these movies now if everything is going to get rebooted? And the well, I think comic book movies in a whole has been on a downward trajectory. So it's kind of like it's not setting a good proper stage for Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom. That's just the stage. Now, all the background drama with Amber Heard and her getting replaced or not getting replaced, Elon Musk coming in, uh, Jason Momoa showing up drunk and making fun of her. What the heck's going on in the drama behind the scenes? It's James Wan's coming out and trying to do some damage control. The other day we found out that he said that it's going to be a buddy comedy type movie between Orm and Aquaman, and that's what they're really aiming for. But he's always had James Wan has had this in his mind that he wanted to make three of them. He even got to the point where he wanted to do a spin-off called The Trench, right? Um, but it's just kind of like, while the first one made $1 billion, this next one is probably going to end up being one of the biggest box office bombs of the year, sitting right next to Killers of the Flower Moon in its uh, disgrace at the box office. James, do you always have to use of the Flower Moon? It's becoming my punching bag. I'm sorry, guys. Hey, I said I like the film. Anyway, Aquaman 3, possibility. If Aquaman in the Lost Kingdom comes out and it does well, so like it shocks us, we pundits come out and say that what the guys, it's surprisingly pretty good. Wow. And it gets that word of mouth, and it doesn't need to make $1 billion like the first one, but let's say it makes over 600 million. I think it would put in line for the possibility that you got to go back to that well. And James Gunn, who's now would be in control of this, who would be holding the reins of it, would say, okay, it's so self-contained that it could be an Elseworlds. Just declare the Snyderverse Elseworlds, James Gunn, and then you solve all your problems. That's it. That's you're done, right? He's sort of alluded to it, but just whatever. Anyway, let's take a look at his quote here. I haven't decided. I haven't directed a third movie in a series before, James Wan said, quoting, I'd be open to doing another Aquaman if I got the same freedom I had on the first two. I'm not sure what direction James Gunn and Safran are going in, though. So who knows? I've learned to never say never. Well, it's all about the cheddar. Yeah, James Gunn is in control of the creative universe at DCU now, but he still answers to somebody in the executive branch of that company. And if the executive higher than him says, that made a lot of money, I want you to make another one, and James Gunn says, well, that doesn't fit in with our plan, the executive will say, no, you're making Aquaman 3. That's just the way it goes, guys. And James Gunn will say, all right, we'll greenlight James Wan to make another one. And he'll just make the statement that he should have been saying the entire time. It's just an Elseworlds movie, guys. That's what's happening. Most people won't care as long as it's good. Hey, and as I said, if we all come out of Aquaman 3 and it's good, that's only a good thing for comic book movies, isn't it? Isn't it? Who knows? Um, TMNTGJ Gaming says, hi, sir. How are you? Ready to watch? I want to watch Leo, that Tamil movie, right? Um, I wanted to watch that, but it wasn't playing anywhere near me. Um, with Our Glass Viking says, with all of your disenchantment, James, you'll be a professional boxer by the end of the year. Yeah. Uh, well, it is what it is. And I read the synopsis for Leo, um, that Leo movie that Team and D Gaming said there. And it sounds like it's very much like based on the history of violence, one of my favorite movies, um, where a guy gets confused to being like a mob hitman or something like that, and the mob comes after him, saying, "Are you really that guy? Are you really that?" It sounds so fascinating. Tamil movie. I want to check it out. Yeah. Chris Shover says, "I heard that they're going to be rebooting Star Wars." Well, that's what Sean was. Was it Sean Levy that said that? That's probably not happening, guys. I feel sorry about the state of characters not rec. on reboots or sequels. Well, here's where I stand on the Star Wars thing. And I was thinking about this too. If they're going to reboot it, I would start at episode one. And then my mind's like, okay, who would you cast in the Phantom Menace? But then I was like, hold on here. No, we're retelling the story. So we don't have to follow the Phantom Menace. And we don't have to follow the way that New Hope unfolds either. Um, I would I would write down all 9 movies, and I would have the events of the prequels, Clone Wars, and the original trilogy all unfold in the first 6, and then I would have new movies with 7, 8, and 9 going forward. Um, and I would just unfold the way that the criticisms of like how episode 3 like should have been episode 2, and then we should have had an entire episode 3 where Anakin is Darth Vader and Obi-Wan tries to romance him back to the good side and finds out that no, he's really some of the events that happened in um, the Obi-Wan series. We get that in the movie version, right? Um, and you could still use James Earl Jones's voice as Darth Vader. You just start at scratch, and I would just start episode 1 with episode 2, where Anakin and Obi-Wan are older. That's just the way that's the way I would reboot it all, and I would just take in some of the criticisms, and I would work in the wills a lot more and stuff like that. So yeah, Hourglass says you could reboot the original Star Wars trilogy as one movie. It would be a 3 hours epic. No, I don't know about that. That's too confined. Uh, yeah, the first half, but I can't believe the spoilers of the director and cinematic universe. Okay, cool. All right. Ah, tea. My tea. Um, let's talk about what else can you find here on the channel, guys. I totally forgot about this. If you like this kind of stuff, hey, we do a lot of these live streams here. Uh, this Friday, we are going to be watching Pain Hustlers at 1 p.m. on Netflix, right here on the channel, guys. Emily Blunt, Chris Evans. I guess they're in some kind of scam about pharmaceuticals. I don't know, but I do like Emily Blunt, so we'll be watching it for that. My review for Killers of the Flower Moon's up on the channel right now, guys, and I talk quite a bit in length about that. We're watching episodes of Survivor Season 45 and Hell's Kitchen Season 22 right now, and yeah, we're having lots of fun doing that. And that's so refreshing to get back into those series for sure. Next, we watched the entire series of Fall of the House of Usher. That's up on the channel right now from episode 1 to episode 8. Great series, one of the best series of the year for sure. Movie reviews for Reptile, Totally Killer are up on the channel right now. And then, of course, you know that we do movie news throughout the week here. And yeah. I don't know what the heck's going on with this light. Whatever. Let's talk about Five Nights at Freddy's. Five Nights at Freddy's comes in an hour and 50 minutes. I thought it was an hour and 35 minutes. For God's sake. All right. Well, it's not getting to the obtuse 2 hour mark, but it's an hour and 50 minutes. Five Nights at Freddy's opens up this week, and I'm seeing it on Thursday at 4:30 p.m. But how much Five Nights at Freddy's cost to make and what it needs to make at the box office is a curiosity to me. Um, let's see if they've got a number in here for the budget. It is from Blumhouse. I think I heard somewhere around like 17 to 20 million. They did hire. Okay, so as the budget was reported to be 25 million, they did hire Jim Henson Studios to do all the animatronics and stuff like that. So I'm very curious about it in that aspect, how well those animatronics work for the movie. I never played the game, so I don't know the gist of the story, but it's kind of like a custodian comes in and tries to clean it during the night, and the puppets come alive and try to kill him, right? Um, that's just the basic premise that I understand. But I am looking forward to it. It's a cult hit. People are really clamoring for this, and I think it will be number one at the box office this weekend. It will dethrone Taylor Swift's, because Taylor Swift will be out for 3 weeks now. So yeah, Five Nights at Freddy's will be number one, and 25 million. Actually, I think that's doable because it is the Halloween weekend, guys. You got to remember that. So this movie will. The review embargo for it is not down yet. Um, it's it's kind of like they've froze it until like the morning of Thursday, I think. So no reviews have been out yet for it, but we've seen through other movies like uh, Exorcist Believer this month. Despite people saying that it's a terrible movie, people are still going out to see it. So it's like this movie, if I come out of this and say it's one of the worst movies of October, it won't matter because people are going to go see it anyway. It's kind of like Killers of the Flower Moon in the respect that, oh, it's Martin Scorsese, so people are going to go out and see it regardless of what anybody else is saying about it. Um, it's just that's just the tail of the tape. Plus, you got all the video game fans that want to go out and check it out. Uh, so I think it can make that 25 million. That's not unobtainable, and it's going to make that in the next 2 weeks anyway because of just being in that Halloween season, and it's the thing to do. A lot of youth will go and see it. Um, Freddy Fazbear, I will check you out this Thursday. 2 more days, guys. Um, yeah, I think it'll be safe. Talk about Shawn Levy. Yeah, he did talk about that Star Wars movie, right? We talked about that already. Deadpool 3 and Stranger Things. Um, yeah, our makeup department is pretty exceptional. He's going to be directing some episodes of Stranger Things season 5. I think he's going to do the pilot, right? Um, so people were asking about that. Stranger Things, because it got pushed. We've heard reports in the last couple of weeks of Millie Bobby Brown saying she just wants to get it done and get it over with, kind of thing. Um, and people are like, "Well, the kids are growing older. How are you going to capture that?" And he says, "Our makeup department is pretty exceptional." So that's what comes from that headline about the Stranger Things. They try to probe him about Deadpool 3 stuff. Okay, it is what it is. He doesn't say that much. But Mark Ruffalo said, "You always get the same version of the Star Wars each time. Now you're going to be working on one." Shawn Levy says, and he says, "Yeah, Kathleen Kennedy brought me on board to make a Star Wars movie. Her central mandate to me was, I want a Shawn Levy movie. I want a story and tone that reflects you and your taste and what you bring to your movies with a Star Wars story." Um, she said that so many other times before, and then they get fired. So it's kind of like, we want you to make your movie with your tone until we realize we don't like your tone anymore. So then we're going to fire you. It's happened to people, like countless people have gone through that ringer from Kathleen Kennedy. So I felt extremely empowered, he said. We are in the early days, unfortunately, because the development process was abruptly paused due to the strike, but I feel empowered to trust my instincts in development of this story and movie. And I hope he works with Ryan Reynolds in a Star Wars movie. If you watch that scene in Adam Project where he's like doing that thing with that very lightsaber type weapon, he can handle it. Um, yeah. So he's currently working on Deadpool. It doesn't say that much, but he says, since you're close to Adam Driver, could a Star Wars movie with a prequel to Episode 7 with Kylo Ren, would you do that? He says, your words, not mine, as you know, Adam is a buddy, and I've always been a huge fan of Kylo Ren, but no comment. Now, guys, that's one of the tragedies of the sequels that I think I would cover in a remake. We just talked about remaking Star Wars. Yeah, you don't have to follow the outline grid of what the movies have already done. You can change things up. And one of the most interesting things about the sequel trilogy got relegated to backstory. And I don't know why that was not the focus of the movies, which it should have been, which was Luke training the new Jedi and things falling apart, his struggles and tribulations with that, his struggles with Kylo Ren. That was all backstory. And why was that not the main focus of what those movies? That's what the main focus of what those movies should have been. And it's kind of like we didn't get that, but you could do that now. You could do that now. You can correct those things and make a much tighter trilogy of trilogies play out. Bifer says Kathleen Kennedy only made 5 Star Wars movies, but promised 19 that were never made. Yeah. What is the new movie Stephen King is called, James? Yeah, we'll talk about that in just a little bit. Um, a Kylo Ren prequel movie for Shawn Levy. That's just what people have said. So I'm sure that there's going to be some Star Wars channels out there trying to spin it out there as, oh, it's Shawn Levy's going to be doing a Kylo Ren prequel movie. That's not what he said, guys. So it's kind of like, I think that ship has passed because Adam Driver's not all that interested in revisiting Star Wars. Yeah. All right. We've talked about that enough. What's next? Fall of the House of Usher. Yeah, we talked about this, that we reviewed and watched the entire series here. Fall of the House of Usher creator clarifies one key point about Verna and violent deaths. Yeah, Carla Gugino, great actress. I hope she gets nominated for this performance too, because she plays in a couple of scenes where she's got a couple of monologues, especially what was it, episode 4, where she's like shifting between a monkey and this form, and she's talking about, well, injustices and stuff like that, and she does it so well before she kills Mike Flanagan's wife in this movie, in this series. But anyway, it was a good episode. Great. Um, so slight spoiler material there, guys. Uh, Clarifies one key point. So what's this one key point? Um, if the kids had taken Verna's advice, they would have died peacefully like Lenore. Oh, is that it? Yeah, Lenore. I liked how that was handled, because she was like, "Here's what's going to happen after this happens. This is going to inspire a whole bunch of people to get healed and stuff like that." But the other kids resisted it and died horrible, brutal deaths, except for one Usher. Yeah, great series, awesome. A little bit racy too with its nudity. All right, enough of that. Um, yes, Mike Flanagan talking about Fall of the House of Usher. Mike Flanagan is going to be doing a new Stephen King movie. So the guy who did Fall of Usher, who did Doctor Sleep, Haunting of Hill House, Bly Manor, Midnight Mass, is going to be doing a new Stephen King movie, and that's really cool. New Stephen King movie casts 2 Marvel stars as one Doctor and one Doctor Sleep actor. So a new adaptation from Mike Flanagan. The Life of Chuck has added Mark Hamill and Tom Hiddleston. Mark Hamill. Well, we just saw him in the Fall of House of Usher, and he was fantastic, man. He was fantastic. Great performance. Yeah, stellar by Mark Hamill and Tom Hiddleston. Okay, that's cool. But you're showing me a picture of Karen Gillan, and you guys know how I feel about her. I think she's awesome. Stephen King adaptation of The Life of Chuck adds Chiwetel Ejiofor, Karen Gillan, and Jacob Tremblay to the cast, joining Mark Hamill and Tom Hiddleston. So Jacob Tremblay was in Doctor Sleep. He was one of the kids that gets killed. Of course, you know Chiwetel Ejiofor is from the Doctor Strange movies. The movie will be directed by Mike Flanagan. The story is told in reverse chronological order, following Chuck's life from his death to his childhood, with 3 actors showing different sides of the character. With different actors showing, huh? A life-affirming, gender-bending story of Stephen King's novella about 3 chapters in the life of an ordinary man named Charles Krantz. So it's a little bit like, what was that Fincher movie, The Curious Case of Benjamin Button, right? Where a guy's aging at different de-aging through his life, right? Great cast. Mark Hamill, Carl Lumbly, Tom Hiddleston, Karen Gillan, Chiwetel Ejiofor. Yeah, great cast. Um, no release date for that, but I'm very curious about I'm very curious about it because guys know that I am a big Karen Gillan fan. Chiwetel is known for his work in 12 Years a Slave. Yeah, we know all that stuff. So the, they go on to try to fill in a little bit more. But Flanagan has also done Gerald's Game. Yeah, that's right. So he's worked with Stephen King before. So that's a good mix. I would say the only person that has done a better job with Stephen King films than Flanagan would be the guy who did Shawshank and The Mist. Um, Frank Darabont. He's woven magic with Stephen King, and so is Mike Flanagan because Mike Flanagan um, he did Doctor Sleep, which I thought was really well done. A great follow up to The Shining, haunting for sure. So the movie's called The Life of Chuck. Huh. The story is told in reverse, chronological order following Chuck's life from his death to his childhood, with 3 acts showing different sides of the characters. So it's kind of like it's like a mixture of I'm getting the sense of Curious Case of Benjamin Button mixed with Memento a little bit in there. Interesting. Yeah. No release date just as of yet, but I would say if it starts shooting next year, maybe late 2024, early 2025, probably early 2025. That's what I'm thinking. Cool though. Mike Flanagan. He's one of my favorite directors right now. Not quite in the top 5, but he's in the top 10 for sure. And yeah, he's just got a knack for adaptation. All right, let's go on to some hit or miss headlines. Um, if it's a hit, we'll talk about it. If it's a miss, we'll move on. Yep. Will Chloe Grace Moretz Hit Girl return for the Kick Ass reboot? Well, guys, we talked about this last week. Matthew Vaughn wants to reboot the Kick Ass universe, but it will be a side reboot. It'll be another person taking up the mantle of Kick Ass, and it won't have Chloe Grace Moretz in it or Aaron Taylor Johnson's version of Kick Ass. It'll be a totally new iteration. Those characters will exist in that reboot, apparently, from what Matthew Vaughn said, but it won't be about them. So you're not going to see a new version of Hit Girl. You're not going to see that, which is good. But it got me thinking, what is Chloe Grace Moretz up to? Because we watched that series, The Peripheral, with her in it, and I thought it was good. They were going to do a season 2 of it, but it got canceled, and that sucks. So what else has she got coming up? Nimona, she's going to be a voice in Nimona. Love is a Gun, pre-production, and Seductive Poison TV series. She's a great actress. She took a little bit of a time off, but if you watched in Peripheral, she's still got it, man. Whatever she's doing on the screen, it locks you in. It's kind of like she's got that gravitas as an actress that's kind of like you want to check it out. And the way that Matthew Vaughn described it is that he's leaving the door open for the possibility for those characters to come back if the reboot is successful in kind of like a team up. That would be kind of cool. Who knows though? It's just it remains to be seen. Next, several hundred Hollywood figures sign an open letter to Biden on Israel. No hostage can be left behind. Now, guys, I know it's a terrible and awful thing over there, and all I can say is, I said to say about this is, you hope that there's um, minimal civilian casualties. That's what you want. You don't want innocent people dying in this. Unfortunately, it's war, and innocent people do die in war. So I guess I kind of stand with actors trying to say that no hostage can be left behind. I would prefer that yes, if you can, even if they're passed on, even if they have been killed uh, by the bad guys, that you can somehow get them back. I don't know. Why is that like? It's still being insolent. Anyway, um, I hope it works. There you go. Next. Watch Britney Spears' never before seen Notebook audition with Ryan Gosling. She brought her A game. Yeah, this has been floating around. We saw this yesterday during the Twitter roundup. Uh, it's out there online, guys. The video's unavailable, been removed. I guess they're taking it down. It's just her reading lines. Um, she wanted to be an actress at one point, but she's had a lot of on her table, and I know that she struggles mentally, so it's kind of like when you're overworked and stuff. It's just a curiosity kind of thing. If you wanted to see her audition, uh, kind of hard not to miss. One Star Wars Easter egg hints at Din Djarin's tragic fate. A subtle Star Wars Easter egg hints at Din Djarin potential meeting his tragic fate before the events of the sequel trilogy. Okay. It's possible Din's helmet could end up in the hands of someone like Grand Admiral Thrawn. That Grand Admiral Thrawn will kill him? Possible. This article doesn't really go on to say much. Yeah. Next. Tyler Perry signs massive multi-film deal with Netflix. Okay, Tyler Perry. 4-year deal with the streamer. Well, if you like his movies, Medea or whatever, I don't know if he's going to do that. I thought he said he was done with that character. You know what? I would like to have seen more of his Alex Cross movies, but that didn't do so well. So it's kind of like we can't make more of those. Hey, he's a creator, so why not? Yeah. Next. 10 good horror movies that were made great by twist endings. Twist endings, huh? What do you got on your list? Sinister. Did Sinister really have a twist ending? Um, I don't know. I guess it sort of did. Ooh, he comes in at the end. The Wicker Man. Yeah, he's not there to investigate what's been going on. He's there to be a sacrifice. That's what he that's what he learns. That's the twist. Secret Window. It's all in his head, kind of thing. Sorry, I'm spoiling movies for you guys. My bad. Whatever happened to Baby Jane? I don't think I ever saw that. Lid Diabolix. I don't think I ever watched that one either. Saw. We all know this twist for Saw. Sixth Sense is a big twist. The others, that was a really well done play twist. I remember I saw that in Edmonton when I lived there in the theater upstairs in the Delta Center. I love that theater. So nice. Anyway, you're next. What was the twist in that? I can't remember that. Don't Look Now. Oh, yeah, it was the old lady in that. I remember that. The final scene, however, confirms that Erin was intended to be as a witness for the family's murder, with her boyfriend becoming the sole beneficiary to their vast fortune. Yeah, I need to rewatch You're Next. I remember liking it, but I get confused between You're Next and Are You Ready with Samara Weaving. Samara, that one also, Are You Ready with Samara Weaving, where she gets invited to dinner and the family turns out to be like playing killer games with each other. That also has a twist. Ready or Not. Sorry, it's called Ready or Not, right? Yeah, that one. Um, that that has a twist to it that fairly interesting because you would at first glance it looks like a standard Oh, the family's out to kill her, and then it goes into a weird direction towards the end where I think it was its redeeming part. Leave the World Behind. Guys, in select theaters November and on Netflix December 8th. What did you guys think about that trailer? I thought it looked pretty good. And I forgot, yeah, um, Kevin Bacon is in it. Yeah, right there is Danny. Uh, I like that scenario of like kind of like the end of days. It's all going to hit the fan, and it's really cool to see Julia Roberts in this type of movie because normally she's in dramatic pieces. Yeah, that shot of the tanker coming towards the beach. Of course, it'll ground itself, but you still want to clear the way. But it's just ominous. It creates that feeling of dread, and I thought the trailer did a fantastic job of capturing that. Um, Very fascinating. What other work has this director done? This Sam Esmail, Mr. Robot. Yeah, they said that in the trailer, right? I want to see his directing credits, please. Homecoming, Mr. Robot, Virtual Experience, Comet. It's not a whole lot of stuff. Um, Doing a TV series called Metropolis, but yeah, that was a good trailer. That shot there towards the end when everything's coming out, and you know that, yeah, there's going to be standoffs with people. Can I trust you? Or are you just going to try to loot me? That kind of thing. And you know, Kevin Bacon is going to be playing one of those people that's all hunkered down in his bunker, and I can't wait for those interactions. But there was a shot there towards the end. Yeah, that. What's going on there? Is that a plane crash? Or is that the tanker coming and hitting the shore? Um, yeah, very interesting. But that shot of yeah, there's like a red tornado coming up behind him or something. But yeah, that look of Ethan Hawke and the woman trying to get in the car, and he's like that. Oh crap mentality. Um, Guys, December 8th, right here on Netflix. We'll be right here. We'll be watching that together. So come to the channel and join. We'll be watching that. Loved Mila Harold scenes opposite Rachel Sennott in Bodies, Bodies, Bodies. Can't wait to see more of her. You had my curiosity. Now you have my attention, especially with that stellar cast. Can't wait. It's about time Ethan and Kevin make a movie together. Yeah, people have said that Ethan Hawke and Kevin Bacon look alike. I've seen those comparisons, but I like the premise of this movie, man. Looks like a Quiet Place slash Black Mirror mashup. Kevin is looking more like Ethan Hawke every day. Yeah, there's going to be those comparisons. Um, what do you guys think about that trailer? Let me know in the comments below. I thought it looked pretty good. Yeah, if you like what you're seeing, guys, we do movie news throughout the week. Let me know what you think about that. We also do full movie reactions for like Pain Hustlers, movie reviews for Killers of the Flower Moon. We watch Survivor, Hell's Kitchen, how Fall of the House of Usher series, movie reviews for Reptile. Totally killer. If you like that kind of thing, come join the channel. Hit that thumbs up button, subscribe, and I'll see you next time on Mirror Domains. All right, so I'll cut that out and post that up on the channel later on. Chris Schober says in the live chat, interesting trailer. Yes, it does. Leave the World Behind looks promising, says Artglass Vikings. I wonder, well, is there a twist in this tale? Oh, yeah, that could be. Could there be a twist? I don't know. Byford says, I don't know. I like Greenland, but Gerard Butler more than Leave the World Behind. Oh, okay. All right. Uh, Guys, that's pretty much all I have in the can for today's show. Let's go over to the Twitterverse and see if we missed any big headlines. First trailer for Steve McQueen's Occupied City. So that's a trailer. I don't know what that is. Is that like a documentary or something? First look at Claes Bang historical epic William Tell. Okay. Daniel Radcliffe is producing a documentary about his former stunt double who was left paralyzed after an accident on the Harry Potter set. David Holmes, The Boy Who Lived. Oh, well, that's nice of him to shed some light on this situation. Radcliffe, from what I understand, Radcliffe is a stand-up dude in real life. A mensch. For official trailer for Leave the World Behind yet. We just watched that. Maggie Smith. She's still kicking, guys. Although she's really looking up there. How old is Maggie Smith? 88. Greta Lee, Mike Face, don't know who those are. Britney Spears was offered the role in Chicago as the villain who kills a man and sings and dances while doing it too. I should have done it, she said. So, yeah, who said that in the live chat? Arglass Vikings said Britney's book came out also. Is that why all these quotes and stuff are coming out now about Britney? I wrote a song about Britney called Burning Bridges. By Burning Bridges. Anyway, next. You don't need to hear about that. Went up the hill. Gotham Awards. Jacob Elordi press tour. Yeah, see, guys, is it a trend now or is it like no belt, eh? If I had the waistline to do it, I would do it, but I don't have the waistline. I have a waistline and it would hold, but it just wouldn't look good. It's not flat like that. That's what you need. You need to have a flat side to properly pull off not wearing a belt, right? Anyway, happy birthday to Oliver Jackson Cohen. Yeah, he was missing. He was one of the cast members that was missing in Fall of the House of Usher. He's one of Mike Flanagan's go-to guys, and he's a really good actor. He really is. Very versatile. Um, Maybe he could be in the Life of Chuck or whatever, because he is good. All right, Lady Bird is on Netflix US. Okay. Jacob Elordi and Sophie, Kaylee Spaney, Priscilla, Spider-Man Far From Home. All right. What is your favorite line delivery in a horror movie? Okay, let me see if I can find it. Yeah, that's it. Give me the bat. You don't let me finish my sentence. Said I'm not gonna hurt you. I'm just gonna bash your brains in. Great scene. This scene, like, The Shining is one of those movies where if it's on TV or something, I sit down and I watch one scene, and I'm hooked. I'm sucked into it. I am your mother. Yeah, great line. Hello, Clarice. Yeah. Red rum. Yeah, that's another one. Because you were home. Wendy, I'm home. Yeah. So there's a lot of Shining, and I'm all out of bubble gum. They live. Yeah, I'm here to kick butt and chew bubble gum. Yeah. All right, guys, that's it for me today. Come join us later this afternoon on Twitch because it is Reset Tuesday for World of Warcraft. We get to open up a bunch of great vaults and seeing what kind of new gear we can get as we ramp up for Season 3, launching on November 7th, right, for World of Warcraft. Fun times. New raid coming out. So the final raid, and I'll be tanking the final raid. I feel like I'm in the full swing of tanking, so we'll be tanking galore. All right. Anyway, guys, hit that thumbs up button, subscribe, and I'll see you next time. You're watching Mirror Domains.